Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling haphephobia.
Right. That's the fear of touching or, well, being touched.
Yeah, you might hear it called other things too, like aphophobia, haphephobia. What else?
Oh, there's a list. Haptophobia, thixophobia, even aphenphosmphobia. Quite a mouthful, some of those.
Definitely. So we've pulled together some material to really try and understand, what this phobia is actually about.
And how it shows up. Our goal isn't medical advice, of course,
No, absolutely not.
but more to explore the core ideas from what we found, get a clearer sense of it.
Because dealing with any phobia can feel pretty isolating. Right?
Exactly. So hopefully this deep dive offers some clarity, maybe fosters a bit more understanding.
Okay, so let's dive in. How does this fear actually, manifest?
Well, like other phobias, it triggers anxiety and stress responses. Our sources list quite a few potential symptoms.
And it's key to remember, these aren't the same for everyone, right? It varies.
Totally varies. You might see things like chest pain or that really awful choking sensation. And physical reactions, too, like cold or hot flushes, even cholinergic urticaria.
Which is hives, basically.
Yeah.
Triggered by anxiety or heat.
Yeah, hives brought on by the body's reaction to stress, essentially. And then there's the psychological side.
Right, like dissociation, feeling kind of detached.
Exactly. Or dizziness, a real fear of dying or losing control.
That feeling of being trapped, too, must be terrifying.
It really must be. It's the body's fight or flight system kicking in inappropriately.
So, no actual physical danger, but the body reacts as if there is.
Precisely. And that brings more physical stuff, too.
Like heart palpitations.
Hair.
Hyperventilating.
Yep. Nausea, that sense of just impending doom. Sweating, tingling feelings, shivering.
And trembling, too, sometimes.
And trembling. It just shows how, deep this runs. It affects your mind and your body pretty profoundly.
So to get a better handle on how this all plays out, it's interesting to look at how it's shown in, popular culture.
It is. Now, obviously, fiction isn't a diagnostic manual.
Of course.
But these portrayals can give us glimpses into how people imagine this phobia, maybe where it comes from, how it affects characters.
Okay, so where should we start? There was that movie 3 O'Clock High from '87.
Buddy Revell, yeah, his reaction is extreme, isn't it?
Very. He just assaults anyone who touches him. A
Yeah.
really violent kind of aversion.
That's one way it's shown. Then, if you look at potential origins, there's Guts from the manga Berserk.
Okay, Berserk. That started in '89.
Right, and his haphephobia is explicitly linked to childhood trauma, specifically rape.
Wow. So that really grounds the fear in a specific terrible experience.
It does, and you see that trauma link appear quite a bit in these fictional examples.
Like in Lars and the Real Girl, the 2007 film.
Well, with Lars, it's more about the sensation, isn't it? He describes touch as feeling like burning.
Yeah, that really gives you a sense of the physical repulsion. Just an awful feeling.
It focuses on the sensory part of the phobia, which is interesting. Then back to manga, Freezing from 2007.
The heroine there, her phobia, is also linked to trauma.
Yes, and the source we looked at called it a very notable case. Again, that trauma connection.
It really seems like a recurring theme in how writers explore this.
It does. We see it again in Fire Emblem Awakening, the Nintendo game from 2012.
Yeah. Which character?
Libra. His haphephobia is shown as resulting from abusive and neglectful parents.
So early life stuff again, showing how those experiences can shape your relationship with touch later on.
Exactly. It highlights that potential cause and effect.
Are there examples where it's maybe less about a specific trauma?
That's a good question. Well, think about Mallory Park in the novel Echoes from 2015.
Right. She wears gloves.
She wears gloves because of her haphephobia. It's a clear coping mechanism. The source doesn't detail why she has it, though.
So it's just presented as part of who she is.
Sort of, yeah. And similar in the film Our Brand is Crisis, also 2015. Sandra Bullock's character has it, but the specifics aren't really gone into in our materials.
Okay. So trauma is common in these stories, but not the only way it's shown.
Right. Then, of course, a really well-known one, Christian Grey.
50 Shades, from 2011 onwards.
His haphephobia is also tied to childhood abuse, foster care system trauma, and the books apparently explore his condition quite a bit.
Right, it's pretty central to his character, isn't
He's
it?
very central. It shapes a lot of his interactions and behavior. Going back to Mallory Park's gloves for a second.
Yeah.
That's shown as a very practical, everyday way of managing the anxiety.
Makes sense. And then in TV, Mr. Robot, from 2015.
Elliot Alderson. He consistently avoids touch, It's never explicitly labeled haphephobia in the show, I don't think.
But it's strongly implied,
Very strongly implied through his actions. It's shown, not told, you could say.
which is an interesting narrative choice. Then, Six of Crows, another 2015 novel.
Kaz Brecker also wears gloves, takes pains to avoid skin contact. His struggle with it is actually a whole subplot.
So it's not just a character trait, it's part of his actual story arc.
Exactly. It really impacts him. And it pops up in unexpected places, too, like Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher novels.
Really? In the book Night School from 2016, it's revealed his former sergeant, Neagley, has Haphephobia.
Huh. Shows it can affect anyone, really. Different walks of life.
Indeed. And video games again, Death Stranding from 2019.
Oh yeah, Sam Porter Bridges?
His condition is explicitly named, although they call it Haphephobia in the game.
Right. That other name?
And it's not just backstory, it actually affects the gameplay, how you interact with the world.
That's fascinating. Integrating the phobia right into the game mechanics.
It really is. Then there's an example from Chinese drama, Cute Bodyguard.
Okay.
The character Gu Rong has haphephobia, but he's comfortable being touched by one specific person, Su Jingjing.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's not always a blanket, no touch from anyone.
Seems not, in that portrayal at least, it suggests maybe trust, or the specific relationship can play a role.
Which makes sense psychologically, I suppose.
And we also see it paired with other phobias sometimes. In the Indonesian novel Jakarta Sebelum Pagi from 2016,
Yeah.
the character Abel has haphephobia and gyrophobia,
Which is fear of.
loud noises. So a reminder that people can deal with multiple phobias.
Right. And the last one on our list, a recent film.
Yeah, the 2024 Indian Telugu film Gami. The main character has haphephobia, and the whole plot is apparently about his search for a cure.
Wow, so the phobia is the absolute driving force of the narrative.
Exactly. Really puts the impact front and center.
So looking across all these, it's quite a range, isn't it? From violence to sensory issues, trauma roots, coping strategies.
A huge range. And sometimes it's central, sometimes it's more background detail.
So just to kind of wrap things up,
Yeah.
we've looked at haphephobia, known by, well, quite a few names.
We have. We talked about the different anxiety and stress symptoms that might show up, that whole list of physical and psychological reactions.
And then we explored all these examples from books, movies, games, TV, seeing how differently this fear of touch gets portrayed.
Highlighting the different ways it can manifest. The potential origins fiction explores often trauma, but not always, and how characters cope or don't cope.
And taking that step back, these fictional stories, they aren't clinical case studies, obviously.
Not at all.
But maybe they offer a way in, a starting point for thinking about a condition that must feel incredibly isolating for people who actually live with it.
Which leads to a final thought, perhaps. How does seeing this fear portrayed in fiction affect us?
You mean, does it shape our understanding?
Yeah, or our empathy.
Yeah.
Does reading about Kaz Brecker or watching Lars Lindstrom change how we might perceive someone in real life dealing with this? Does fiction just hold up a mirror? Or does it actually maybe influence how we understand these complex things like anxiety and phobias?
That's definitely something to chew on. Food for thought.
Indeed.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.